A new hypothetical surgery could potentially help. You know what? Just strap in. This gets weird.
Doctors can transplant human heads. An Italian scientist says the technology to do them exists.
That's right, head transplants. A paper by Dr. Sergio Canavero not only claims the procedure is possible, but lays out step by step how it could potentially be done. The surgery would involve inducing hypothermia in both the donor and the recipient, making careful transection cuts, then quickly reattaching the head to the new body's circulatory system before painstakingly putting everything else back together. Believe it or not, that's already been done in animals. Dr. Robert White of Case Western Reserve University successfully transplanted one monkey's head onto another's body in the 1970s. But White's work was criticized not just for being horrifying, but also for not being a real transplant. The head had no connection to the body other than being hooked up to the circulatory tract. But Canavero says science has now met the challenge, citing a paper last month in which researchers severed, then reconnected the spinal cords of rats and were able to get some nervous function back. That's enough, according to Canavero. He says the procedure could give new life to paraplegics, patients with muscular dystrophy, even cancer patients whose bodies are dying but whose brains are still unscathed. It's all still very speculative. No one else has come out in support of Canavero's claims, but he's not backing down. The Telegraph quotes Canavero saying, "This could be done today, now. The only reason I have not gone further is funding." He even issued a challenge in an Italian magazine, saying he would gladly take on the skeptics in a public debate. But there's one skeptic he may have a hard time fighting back, a man with intimate knowledge of both studies Canavero cited in his paper. Dr. Jerry Silver was a colleague of Dr. White at Case Western, and he actually authored last month's spinal reattachment study. And what does he think of Canavero's claims? CBS asked him. "It's complete fantasy," he said, blasting Canavero's interpretation of his paper. "It's light years away from what they're talking about." He also said he remembers the monkey head transplant and thinks it was so awful it should never be repeated, especially on humans. Just to do the experiments is unethical. This is bad science. This should never happen. According to U.S. News and World Report, Canavero admits he hasn't worked out the ethical implications of the procedure, but he did say he could make it a reality for a mere $30 million. For Newsy, I'm Candace Aviles.